Have you ever spoken to a realtor and felt like, huh? What did she say? What does that mean? I've never heard of that before. Well, let's run down some key real estate terms and definitions starting now. Hey guys, it's the RE Agent 007 Tammy Bond, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm a realtor with Centerbeam Real Estate, and I help families relocate to St. Johns County, Florida. When you're buying and selling real estate, there are a few key terms that you should be familiar with. Knowing these terms and what they mean will help you to feel more comfortable in the process. So let's start with agents. As you know, there are generally two agents for every transaction. There's an agent representing the buyer, sometimes called the selling agent, and there's an agent representing the seller, sometimes called the listing agent. Pre-approval letter. This letter comes from a lender indicating that a buyer is qualified to purchase a home at a certain price. Now remember, this letter is critical. You need to have your pre-approval letter in place before you start searching for a home. Down payments. Now, down payments are typically 3 to 20% of the purchase price, depending on the loan product that you're using. Some loans are only 3.5%, for example, if you're getting an FHA loan as a first-time home buyer. There are also programs that offer 0% down. Talk to your lender so that you can get more details. Now, I know you heard me say 3 to 20%. Let me just clear the air now. 20% is usually not required in order to buy a home. Down payment assistance programs are available to help buyers reduce the amount of money that they need to save in order to buy a home. Pending that you qualify for these programs, you can get a loan at low or no interest or a grant to help go towards your down payment costs, and sometimes it also helps to cover your closing costs too. Earnest money deposit, or EMD, is the amount of money that a person puts down when they have serious intent to buy a home. These funds are held in escrow and help go towards the purchase of your home. Due diligence period. After your offer has been accepted by the seller, your due diligence period begins. Generally speaking, it is 10 days here in the state of Florida. However, that time frame can vary. You are able to lessen it if you so desire. During this period is when the buyers would get all of their inspections, home inspection, WDO, pool, septic, all of the above, or what is applicable to your home purchase. Escrow is a mutual third party, either a closing attorney or a title company. They open up an account for you during your real estate transaction. This account is used to transfer money between the buyer and the seller. Showings. This is when the buyer's agent reaches out to the seller's agent to request a date and a time for the buyer to preview the property. Once the seller has agreed to that date and time, the agent and the buyer can go out to the property so that the buyer can see the home in person and also take a look at the neighborhood. Competitive market analysis, also known as a CMA, more commonly known as comps. This is a report that an agent can pull to determine the value of a specific property. This value is determined by looking at recently sold homes that are similar to the subject property and that have recently sold in the same area. Purchase agreement or offer. If you are a buyer, you are writing a purchase agreement to be given to the seller. If you are a seller, you are receiving purchase agreements for your home that you have listed. The purchase agreement contains the price that the buyer is willing to pay any contingencies, and terms that the buyer would like to offer the seller. Now, in today's competitive market, sellers are receiving multiple offers on properties. Not every offer will be accepted, and some offers, although they are accepted, can sometimes fall through. Contingency. A contingency is a provision in your contract that needs to be completed before your contract is legally binding. Some common contingencies are home inspections, appraisals, financing, and things of that nature. Home inspection. A home inspector will come to the house and take a look at the home's foundations, structure, roof, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, systems. They'll also let you know the age of your appliances and whether or not they may need to be replaced. Once a home inspection is complete, the home inspector will put together a report for you so that you have pictures as well as documented proof of any items that may need to be repaired or just the general health of the home itself. Now, home inspections generally take about 90 minutes to 2 hours. Now, this time could vary, a little less for smaller homes or condos and a little more for single families and big estate-sized homes. Appraisals. Lenders rely on appraisals to give them a value for the property that's being purchased. A lender does not want to lend more money than necessary on a given property. Appraisals are ordered by the lender and they are completed by a licensed appraiser. Closing. The closing is the completion of your real estate transaction. It is when all the documents get signed. It is when money is exchanged. It is also when keys are exchanged. So you have finally either bought or finally sold your property. Congratulations to all people on both sides. Closing costs are generally paid by both the buyer and the seller in each transaction. Closing costs can consist of loan origination fees, appraisal fees, title search, title insurance, credit reports, taxes, surveys, and more. You will get what's called an ALTA or HUD statement that breaks down what your fees are and who pays what fees. Title company. The role of the title company is to verify that the seller has the legal right to sell the property that is being bought by the buyer. Equity. Equity is the difference between the amount that's owed on the mortgage and the value of your property. So for example, if you have a property and the mortgage balance is currently $150,000, but the value of your property is $200,000, you have $50,000 worth of equity. Thank you for hanging on in there with me. I know this was a lot of information, but the more familiar you are with these terms, the easier it's going to be. Believe me, you're going to run into these terms and more throughout your real estate journey. Now, if you come across a term or a concept that you just don't understand, never hesitate to reach out to your realtor. Talk to them, explain to them that you don't know what they're talking about, or ask them to define a word or a concept more clearly so that you understand what's happening throughout your transaction. If you found this video useful, please check out my video called Ask the Expert with Matt Shota of Cornerstone Home Inspectors. As the title reads, he is a home inspector and he will give you a lot of great information and insight on what goes on in a home inspection and a WDO inspection. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload new videos weekly. See you next week.